What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the Buy the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host, as always. My name is Jimmy. And as we start off every show, that's with gratitude. I want to say thank you to all of our supporters, all the students in Buy the Hood University. We appreciate all the support, all the people that have bought our merch, our courses. We just appreciate all the support, and we start every show like that. My brother Corey couldn't make this episode. He's out in the community doing that good work, but I'm going to hold it down nonetheless. And if you've been listening to our podcast, or maybe this is your first time, please do me a favor. If you're watching the video, please subscribe on YouTube. Hit that like button. If you're listening to the audio podcast, make sure you subscribe however you get your podcast, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, or Pocket Cast. That's my personal favorite. Nobody's cutting the check, so I shouldn't have said that. But with that being said, our platform is designed to highlight brothers and sisters who are doing amazing work in the community, building businesses, who are investors, and we just want to highlight them and talk to them a little bit about their background. And this one, another amazing brother. We got DeShawn Miller, who is a cryptocurrency expert and trader, as well as a silver stacker. But I want to talk to him about his crypto. DeShawn, what's up, good brother?
What's going on, Jimmy? Thanks for having me, man. Gratitude to you and Buy the Hood for allowing me to come on here. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. Listen, man. We like to highlight brothers and sisters doing amazing work, specifically our Bacchus brothers and sisters, because you guys are tremendous. You're a group of African Americans or black folks, because I don't like to play the African American or people of color game, but a lot of black folks out here doing investing and building wealth, and that's something that should be highlighted. And you particularly because you're in the crypto space, right? So we've had a couple crypto guests on before, but I want to dig into this because, as we say every time we bring up crypto, it's a big transfer of wealth going on, and
Huge.
I want to get your perspective on it. But before we get into that, let's talk about your background, though. Where are you originally from? How was your schooling and upbringing? What was that like?
All right, so originally from East Cleveland, Ohio, and let's see, long story, but originally from East Cleveland, Ohio, moved to Cincinnati when I was in high school, graduated high school, went to college at Central State, received a degree in public administration, worked for the government for about 12 years as a contract specialist. I bought airplanes that the Navy and Air Force pilots train on,
Okay.
from propeller to tailwind, all the spares, all of that. I spent a brief period of time working for Chicago Public Schools, secured all the computer contracts for the schools 1 year. Then we moved back to Ohio, and I moved back and worked back at the Air Force and started doing a little bit of construction, contract management, contract negotiating for hangars and properties and buildings on the Air Force Base up there in Dayton. And while I was at the Air Force Base in Dayton, I actually had a chance to meet the creator of the Abacus, James Tompkins. And that was like a life-changing moment. And it's one of those moments where you really don't know it. I ran across him on the internet, and he was doing this project. They had bought that house in Dayton. And I think Earl lives there now. I think the guy Earl. But anyway, they bought the house in Dayton. And I was so excited to see a brother out here doing good in the community. And just like, I was like, I have to meet this guy. So I called him. I sent off some money to support. Then I called him and I was like, hey, I want to come by just to see just to shake your hand. And I hopped out and I rolled up on him. It was him and his wife and a guy from down the street. And I think I was a little bit off-putting to him because I'm 6'7". I hopped up out of this beat up Honda Accord with a mirror hanging, one mirror was missing. So I think, it kind of put him off a little bit. Like, how could he be serious about it? But to this day, I still drive that same Honda, and I have a lot more money, and the mirror's still off. But that's just who I am. But anyway, so I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I dove in. I started watching the Abacus videos, and I was interested in trading, stocks, options, all that stuff. And it took me forever to get through those videos because I used to watch them on my commute back and forth from Cincinnati to Dayton. And eventually I got through them. And right when I was getting ready to get serious about the whole stocks thing, crypto came onto my radar. And I think back then, like Sharika was still coming on doing her thing. And, we exchanged some things with her, picked up a couple of names from her. on some tokens. I even exchanged some with Corey, I think, at one point in time. This was very, very early on. And they put from there, I met a guy named Michael Shimilis. He runs a group. He was running a signal group. And I was always late on his signals. So it pissed me off. Like, here he is making all this money and I'm losing. I'm constantly losing. So how can I change this? After I met him, I saw a guy named Jamar James on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And he was into crypto and he was like, oh, here's my trading, let's talk trading strategies, this and another. Now, this brother was genuine and open and gave me everything. So I've been working with Jamar for about 3 years. And when I got with Jamar, not only did I learn crypto, but I learned like time management, and mindset. Those are the two key things that I got from him. And it took my trading from here to the next level. And so that's how I got in. That's how I got
Yeah,
into trading. That's my education background.
that's
You know,
that's an interesting story, great story. First of all, shout out to James because James is out there changing a lot of folks' lives with his Abacus system that he's built.
bro, I don't even mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but yeah, to circle back, big shout out to them. I mean, I went to the meetup in Columbus. Without the
Mhm.
Abacus, I never would have got into crypto. I have
Yeah,
to say that. And now I have my own website, my own training. So big time shout out to James
yeah.
and the Abacus.
And he's actually been on here. He and for those who don't know what we're talking about, you can go back. I think it was either episode maybe 2 or 3. It was very early on that he came on and talked about what he's built. And it's good to see like so many people that have come through that are now in spaces as investors and traders and things of that nature. So just want to give him a quick shout out. But getting back to your story, right? So one of the things that I realized is like, through you seeing the work that he was doing, you reached out to him, but you kind of like put yourself in a circle amongst other people who were doing investing and trading, and that kind of changed everything for you, right?
Yeah, I had to because it wasn't the things that they were focused on, it wasn't what was driving me. It's not what I wanted to focus on. Like I wanted to focus strictly on crypto. The monitor, once I saw how the market was reacting, I knew that I wanted to be a part of crypto. Like in my personal opinion, I think that that's the next phase. I think that the stock market and Nasdaq will eventually transfer over into the crypto market. And currently, what we're seeing now is Bitcoin trying to decouple from the stock market.
Okay.
So for me, I wanted to be ahead of that because I want to be able to give this to my children.
All right. Well,
So
before we get into, let me ask you this question, right? When you were working as a government employee, sounds like you had a pretty good job. Like, was investing or anything even on your mind at that point? Like,
I had never invested. Like I had you had your 401k, and you contribute that little percentage. But I still don't. I mean, even to this day, I still don't own a stock.
all right.
I don't. I'm strictly crypto and silver.
So when you were working a government job, right? So a lot of people like go their whole lives and they would love to get a government job, right? Right. I know it sounds crazy, but no, just follow me along here. My question is, what was it about investing before you even got into crypto? What was it about investing that like drew you over to that side? So I'm asking
Um,
that question because I talk to people from all walks of life, and sometimes people who have a quote unquote the what's considered by many people to be a good job, so to speak, um, they don't want to hear it. You
oh
know,
no, I'm
they
not
don't
one
want
of
to
them
hear it at
people.
all. So
No,
so
bro.
what was it that had made you have the open mind?
I'm of the mindset that I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to control my time. I'm a big family man. Like I call myself a suburban cheer dad. My two daughters are in cheer. My son is in football and basketball. He's active in sports. So nothing makes me happier than be able to give them the tools and resources they need to succeed in all areas of life. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I'm at a 9 to 5, giving 40 hours of my week to someone else, even though it's supposedly a good job. And I made good money. I made real good money. I knew I could do more for myself if I took the time, invested in my own education in this crypto space, and it's paid off exponentially. Like not only in fiat dollars or in money, but in time. Time is my greatest resource, and now I get to wake up every morning and see my children. Not just because of COVID, but because like that was my goal. That was the goal. That's the plan. I'm on some. Some of you guys may be familiar with it. What I want to do is very comparable to what Derek Grace is doing with his children. We go out. They know how to handle firearms. They also know how to handle investments. And they're all straight A students. So that's what led me down that path. So even though most people say, "Oh, you had a great government job," it was like the job is cool, but it's not what defines me.
Okay. How old are your kids?
My children are 14, 12, and 10.
Okay. Now, do you teach them already the importance of investing in crypto, or how it works, or those kind of things?
They all know how to invest in crypto. They don't know how to trade crypto. I trade and invest. They all have their own crypto holdings. They have their own crypto wallets. They know how to go on and exchange their crypto for uh, fiat digital currencies.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So
So yeah, so that's awesome that you get to spend that kind of time with them, and also like teach them how to think as investors. That's just that's amazing.
my whole progress, well, my whole thing was to get them to think critically. Just because it's socially acceptable doesn't mean it's right. And especially coming into this crypto space, learning about investing in general. Um, just because, like I said, just because things are socially acceptable doesn't make them right. Just because things are legal doesn't necessarily make them right either. So, or illegal for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's jump into how you made the transition from initially looking into the stock market to going all in on crypto, right? Um what was it about crypto that you just opened your mind up and said, this is a space I need to be in? What was the first thing you saw, or coin you saw, or maybe a white paper you read? What was it?
So, early, early on in the crypto space, like it started off with when we went to Columbus, man. Like Rio and Nelly made some money off of XRP, and it went up exponentially. And they were in that Abacus, and I was behind them, in the tracking of the volatility of these altcoins. So when a guy that you go to college with is like, "Oh yeah, I'm able to purchase a property now off an investment I had in crypto," that's something you look at, and I pay heavy attention to. And I was like, okay, if he can do this, I know I can do this. And so I went about asking questions. How did you do this? How did you get there? The first token that I personally, well, the token that really just changed my life is Theta.
Okay.
Theta, Theta went from 5 cents to 15 cents early on, and I started off with $500. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this 500, I'm gonna put it on here. I had a good feeling about it. I'm very biased against Theta. It's my all-time favorite cryptocurrency right now. I am, man. I think it's the Apple of the crypto space. The partnerships that they have partnerships with Google, Samsung. And if you have a partnership with Google, then you have a partnership with YouTube. They pay individuals for viewing their own videos. Um,
What is it trade at right now? What's Theta trading at right this second?
I think Theta is currently trading at 61 cents. It's down. It's had an
Mhm.
all-time high of what was that? 78 cents. And just to give you guys some perspective on why I love Theta, like so it dipped in March back when we had this COVID thing. And I had already been in. Um, since March, if you just go back from then, like if you took $500 and put it back in on Theta when it was a nickel, you'd be up 977%.
Man, that's amazing. I just got to point out real quick. This is not investment advice.
Not investment advice at all.
We're just
Not at
having a
all.
conversation. We're talking
Absolutely.
about DeShawn's personal experience. This is not investment advice. So make sure you talk to a professional before you invest your money. But it's interesting though, because Theta is something I actually personally never looked into, and I am in the crypto
Oh,
space. You know, and the funny thing is about how I got in the crypto space. And I may have told the story on here before, maybe not. Was Corey. My partner Corey. So Corey says, he's like, yo, a couple years ago, he's like, yo, buy some crypto. And I'm like, I'm one of these guys, I'm very analytical. So I'm a data analyst, like by trade. So I'm like, well, I gotta study it. So I'm sitting there studying and studying. He's like, yo, would you stop studying and just buy some? Right. So I bought some Bitcoin, Ethereum and Litecoin. And coming from the real estate space, a lot of my peers looked at me like I was crazy. But what happened was Bitcoin jumped so fast and I made so much money, I was able to cash out and buy a rental property that I
right.
that I still hold.
Yep.
Once they saw that, they were like, okay, I'm like, so now you really can't tell me anything because it's actually tangible to me now at this point.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it work. So that right there was my intro, and I just held on to like, whatever I have. But I'm still very when it comes to altcoins, I went through that phase a couple years ago where I was buying altcoins. It was going up, you jump in, jump out. But I'm at the point now, and this is why I'm interested to talk to you as well, because one of the things about our show is I learn from everyone that we come on. So I've already learned from you to look up theta, right?
Right.
So the only coins I hold now is I do have what's it called, BAT, because I use the Brave browser, and you get them for free. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I still hold on to the Litecoin I had, and I'm very they call me Jeff Tezos because I buy Tezos so much. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see,
are you staking it? Are you staking any of your? Are you staking any of
all
your
of it?
holdings?
All of it, right? So you see my name on here now. My other
You
alias.
sweat. I liked it, man.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
you sweat because I'm trying to make this money last forever, man. But listen, so with that being said, though, one of the things I found myself, and just to add to this conversation with a lot of the altcoins, and I recognize from talking to people in this space, is that a lot of people don't even read their white papers.
No.
And when I started reading white papers, I realized how a lot of that stuff is junk, or as we call shit coins.
Trash.
Yeah. So as a trader, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a trader, does that matter to you? Are you just trading action, or
I trade different. I trade differently than a lot of other traders.
all right, so
I don't
explain
I
to us
don't
how you trade.
I don't day trade. Let me rephrase that. I don't day trade unless I know the market is moving up. Like I'll hop in, but most of mine are swing trades. So I'm in for 1 to 2 days or 2 to 3 days, and it's dependent upon uh, the information that I have from my mastermind report, and I get my mastermind report from the group that I'm affiliated with, which is the DCG, or the DCG Mastermind.
Okay.
Okay, and they come out with a monthly report every month, and it's straight heat, man. Every month you're going to get a daily breakdown of what's going on in the market, the bullish and bearish periods for that month, for that 30-day period, what tokens have been trending as of late, and then you'll get a breakdown of, actually it's technical and fundamental analysis. They run every you get everything from we cover everything from Ikamoto clouds to Wyckoff method, and we implement the Farmer's Almanac, so historical data is in there, and then we overlay all that with astrology. So right now, like to give you a perfect example, right now it's Mercury retrograde. I'm a believer in astrology, so right now it's Mercury retrograde. It's not a good time to sign contracts, resolve issues, or make big purchases of electrical items. All right. To give you some background on it, my mentor, 1 month, he was getting ready to make a deal, and it was Mercury retrograde. And I said, "Hey, man, it's not a." This was years back before they even put it in the mastermind report. I said, "It's not a good time to take that deal. Just wait 2 weeks, and you'll see something better is going to play out." Oh no, it's money on the table. It's that another. Da, da. I said, "No, just wait." I said, okay. And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna take your word on it." He took my word on it. 2 weeks later, we got a way better deal. And it's all just because there's a willingness to listen. This goes back to the DCG mastermind. There's a willingness to listen and share. Everybody shares that's in the mastermind, and it's because we all have the same trading principles and fundamentals. But yeah, I get all my information from that DCG mastermind report, and it helps me plan out my trades. And some days I'm in. Some months I might trade 4 times. I might make 4 trades. Some months I may only make 1 trade.
Okay.
But that report keeps me prepared and helps me get everything together.
That's interesting. I never heard anyone say they use astrology as part of their strategy. That's a first for me.
Yeah, man. It's you know what, if it pays to, especially in this trading space, it pays to have an open mind, because I can take you to the charts and show you the astrological periods and things that correspond with it. Like the guy who puts it together, his name is Nick. I call him Saint Nick because he's like, to me, he's like Santa Claus. Every month he's giving presents. Like the last, I'm for real, man. The last report I got, it was fire. It hasn't been off. The bullish and bearish periods have always matched up. I know I'm comfortable in taking entry in my trades, and I mean, he's got the record to prove it. So
Yeah. So I got a couple more questions for you. For one, so now that you're a swing trader within the crypto space, but I'm pretty sure you also have like your long-term core holdings. Would
oh,
that be
big time.
So if you don't mind sharing, what are some of your core holdings? You already told us Theta. Like, is it like what are some of your core holdings, that things that you just want to hold forever?
So Bitcoin, Theta. I really like this project called Divi. I got folks up on that last year. Made some good money on that one. Divi, I like Zap. I like Litecoin. Of course, let's see what other projects are out here. SNX, and then I like Celsius. I really like Celsius. I like what Alex Mashinsky's doing. I had the pleasure of meeting him at a Chainwise conference last November.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Celsius project. Uh, Anything you can earn interest on, if you can stake it, like Atom. I like Atom. I like Chainlink. I like. I mean, there's so many out there, But
Yeah,
my
it's a lot. It's
long-term
a lot.
holdings are Atom, Chainlink, Band, Litecoin, Theta, Divi, Zap. Um, I'm forgetting some other ones, but yeah.
And Bitcoin, you forgot a Bitcoin.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, Bitcoin goes without saying. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So my question is this though: if you could explain the Theta project, because for those who don't know, like a lot of these are projects, right? So there's a
Right.
white paper, and you can actually read about what the project is. And if anyone is interested in getting into space, that's the one thing I would suggest, because talking to a lot of newbies, they just go by price action. They see where the price is, where it's going, or the volatility, and they jump in and jump out of things, but they never read about the project. So that's the one piece of advice I would give, is read about the project. What is Theta's project?
Theta. So Theta is it's like broadcasting and TV. They give you complete control over your content. So right now, let's say we put this out on YouTube. What you would do is you attach this to a Theta channel, and the people who view this show will get rewarded in what's called T-Fuel. So it's similar to basic attention token. For your audience tuning into your channel, they're rewarded in what's called these T-Fuel tokens. Then they can take the T-Fuel tokens and go and buy other things, or actually trade those things for other cryptocurrencies. Now, the
Okay.
kicker about Theta is, what I like about Theta is it crosses all platforms. So it's on gaming, it's on it's on entertainment. A lot of the new, I hate calling these people influencers, are adapting Theta into their projects, so that when people come in to view their content, they're able to reward their viewers with the T-Fuel.
Okay, so here's my question. As a creator, if you create content, do you have to like go set up a Theta channel or something like that?
It's as simple as reaching out to them on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and then they evaluate your profile. If you have enough followers or enough following that meet
Mm-hmm.
their criteria, they'll issue you a channel.
Oh, that's dope. That's
So
dope.
you
Because
just really have to. The key is just getting your followers up, and then once you reach out to them, it's not an issue. I haven't known individuals to have any issues.
I know that that's another way I get basic attention token, right? We get it from our YouTube channel, from like my personal Twitter, my personal IG. Like, I actually get basic attention token, right? So
Yep.
what differentiates Theta from a bat?
Theta is more of a reward for channel viewership, as opposed to BAT is like, it's a reward you get for using their browser, and you can tip in BAT.
Yeah.
So those are the two differences. Like in Theta, like you can't tip in Theta, but you can tip in T-Fuel. Like you can donate T-Fuel. Well, no, I'm sorry, they receive T-Fuel for the viewership. Where in BAT, you can actually use that to tip other individuals.
Okay.
I would like to talk now. If you want to talk, I want to talk more about the money making aspect of cryptocurrencies. So I would
Yeah.
like, we can talk about like Celsius Network or your Exodus wallet.
Well, that was actually my next question. Like, when you see what's happening, like, in terms of DeFi, and how now, with staking, and I've seen some crazy stuff with staking, right? I'll give you my personal experience, and then you can tell me, like, what else is out there or what I'm missing out on. Because I know I'm missing out on a lot, because I'm very conservative in the sense that I use a ledger.
Okay.
And I stake my Tezos directly on the ledger, because I'm just definitely afraid of having my stuff on any sort of exchange. But and shout out to my brother Rich. Rich has been telling me about like the Celsius network. Him and Russell have been telling me like, yo, you're missing out, because
I told Russell about Celsius.
Okay, yeah. So Russ has been on me.
Yeah.
You told Russ, but Russ has been on me. Russ is like, yo, you got to get
bro,
that. Him and Rich have both been like, yo, Celsius Network, Celsius Network. So could
bro,
you
like you
explain
can,
what that
yeah.
is, and explain if you want to about like the what's going on now in crypto in terms of the money making ability, like with staking and things of that nature.
So you can stake your crypto in whatever, and not whatever, but in certain projects you may believe in fundamentally. If you like them and you think they have a sound project and they have a solid future ahead of them, you will be able to stake your holdings. So for like right now, one of the particular crypto companies that I'm staking tokens in is Atom, and it pays me 8% annually for my against my holdings. So I'm staking it in my Exodus wallet. So my Exodus wallet is available anywhere I have. It's available anywhere I have internet access, as long as I remember my 12-word seed phrase. And then it's actually stored on my phone as well. So I can open it up with my Face ID. And with Atom, you stake the funds. So as long as I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. Of course, I'm comfortable leaving my funds on the Exodus wallet, and I have access to them in at any time. So if I want to go in and remove those funds, then it'll take 21 days for it to be released into my account. But then everything's there, my interest earned and my original amount. Um, as far as Celsius Network is concerned, they offer a little bit more of a return. Like I think I'm staking. No, not think. I'm staking Uniswap there. I was rewarded Uniswap. For those of you, okay, now I got to rewind a little bit. Uniswap is a DeFi exchange. It's an exchange for decentralized funds. So with DeFi, you come in, it's more as opposed to going to Binance. It's DeFi is peer to peer. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so on DeFi, I'm sorry, with DeFi. So with Uniswap, we're using that DeFi exchange, the decentralized exchange. Uniswap came out last month in September, right? It was so popular, and so much money was created. They rewarded the folks who used Uniswap with 400 Uni tokens, and initially those tokens were worth $1,000. So this is just for folks who took early entry into that space and were willing to take a risk into that space. They were actually rewarded an airdrop of 400 Uni tokens. At one point in time, those Uni tokens value got as high as $1,800. So for using that site, if you would have cashed out, at its peak, you would have gotten $1,800. What I did was I cashed out 300 of them. I held on to 100. I staked the remaining 100 on Celsius Network, and it's offering a return of 16% on those 100 Uni tokens. So that was free money that I had that's now earning me more interest or more free money.
That's amazing at a time where your bank is paying 1/10 of 1%. That's that,
Yeah.
because one of the things that took me out was a lot of those like USDC, a lot of those stable coins.
hmm
People were still making interest off stable coins.
Because you can stake those too. You stake those on Celsius, and they offer like 6%, or you can stake them on other sites in the decentralized finance area like Aave or SNX, because they're up. They're still trying to stand those companies up. So I encourage you guys, like, come into this crypto space, learn this stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
actually,
real quick, for those who don't know what I mean by a stable coin, those are the coins that are actually pegged to the dollar. So they're not really as volatile as Bitcoin. So a lot of people understand Bitcoin from being volatile, from having its ups and its downs.
right.
A stable coin is pegged to the dollar, but people are still earning crazy amounts of interest on stable coins. So I got a partner who's actually been on here before, my brother Do Dubes. And Do Dubes, I call him like the alternative investment king. My man makes money in like crypto, metals. My man like Birkin bags, wine, anything that's like outside of the norm. He's like he's making money going. I'm gonna get him to come back and talk about some of his alt investments, but he was showing me how he was making so much interest off of stable coins, and I was taken aback by it. I'm like, but that's a stable coin though, you know.
It's
So
just like to me, it's just like having a digital dollar. I think the main issue I run into is this, and I hate saying this, but it's the truth. Especially with our people,
mhm.
anybody over 50, they're just not receptive to a digital dollar. They're not trusting of crypto, of electronics. Um, they're all the government's out to get me. Someone to steal my money, and like my mom. Hey,
Mhm.
ma, take your money out of the bank. Don't put it in a savings account. Let's put it in this crypto account. I'm gonna show you how I can earn, 12% interest. Oh well, if I have to convert it into one of them digital dollars, that's not real money. Man, they don't even have all your money in the bank account right now. Like if we go right now, they're going to tell us we have to wait 3 days for you to come back and get your. If you want cash, we're going to have to wait 3 days. So like it's hard to get them to change. What is it? That mindset. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm grateful for. Again, I'm grateful for the group that I met, the DCG Mastermind. Big time shout out to Jamar and Nick. Um, life changing, life
Yeah.
changing.
To that point, right? I read something. It was a couple weeks ago when we were doing another show, our Friday Live. I was looking up some data, and it took me out because it actually was shocking. It was something like less than 30% of people still shop online, and a huge percentage of people still don't believe that you can buy goods and services online.
Really?
Yes. So what shocked me about that data was I'm like, well, that means Amazon still got a lot of growth left. If only
Woo!
20 something percent of people are shopping online, and
I got
Amazon is
one.
already $1 trillion company, they still got room to grow. That was the one thing that took me out. And in reading the data, it was talking about how there are a lot of folks who still like are scared of the technology in terms of like going on the internet, putting your credit card and shopping on there. So when you're talking about what you're talking about, you're light years ahead of most folks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got
It-
another one
it-
for you. So uh I do a call 3 times a week as a part of the DCG Mastermind. Uh, on Sundays I do a weekly prep call, and then on Monday and Wednesdays I do crypto news. So on one of the news calls, I ran across an article and it stated that only 7% of Americans are invested in crypto. 7%. So we're so early to and there's only 21, it was only 21 million, 21 billion, 21 million coins printed of Bitcoin.
Mhm.
So like if you get a Bitcoin, if you own half a Bitcoin, in 10 years, it's going to be life changing. Like you'll be amongst the 1%. If you own a quarter of a Bitcoin, you'll be amongst the 1%. This is not investment advice, you know, but I'm trying
Mhm.
to educate you on the value of crypto. And then say you're not interested in Bitcoin. Okay, you can get a Litecoin. Litecoin, I've been in this space. So when I first got in here, Litecoin was $4. Okay,
Mhm.
when I first started in 20, I remember being on vacation, and I think it was 2016, 2016, Bitcoin was $3,000 on Coinbase. Coinbase was still giving individuals their private keys.
Yeah.
And and if you're in this space, you know that Coinbase is going to be the next Federal Reserve. Like I'm not shaking that on a limb, because the former CEO of Coinbase is now uh, the deputy of comptroller control of
Yeah,
currency,
he is.
deputy of currency.
I have this weird conspiracy theory, right? That Coinbase is already the Feds. Like Coinbase has
Oh,
been the
bro,
Feds. Like
bro,
Rich and Russ know what I'm talking about. I tell them all the time.
yeah,
Coinbase is the Feds. They're the Feds.
yeah,
So I
bro,
already believe that. I actually believe that. It's a conspiracy theory, but when you watch how they move in, yeah, all right. So I'm not trying to turn this into a conspiracy theory because this is a great talk. But when you look at like the book The Creature from Jekyll Island, you see how these things move and how things are intertwined in terms of people at certain positions high up in the
hmm
Fed and their movements and how close they are with the executives from Coinbase, right? Like you just said, to your point, a Coinbase former CEO is now working in the Fed. Like it's very incestuous. So
yes.
I actually believe that. And I'm glad you brought that point up because it's a question I have for you as someone who's an expert in this space. There's been talk, and I've seen Jerome Powell on TV actually, like, it seems like every time he talks, he's talking more and more about the digital dollar.
Yeah.
If that happens, how does that affect this space? Does it devalue Bitcoin or does it make Bitcoin more valuable?
So I'm probably in the minority when I answer this. I think that the digital dollar is already here. How can you create something that's already here? Um, you already have stable coins, and then from the research that I'm doing, like the first central bank digital dollar that was created was sand, and it is made in the Bahamas. It came out a couple weeks ago, and it's actually pegged 1 to 1 to the U.S. dollar physically. The Bahama dollar is. So that initially would mean that the sand digital currency that was created is pegged 1 to 1 to the American dollar. So all the hoopla about a central bank digital currency, in my opinion, right now, until regulation comes out to dictate otherwise, all the hoopla about it is just theater to stir up
Mm.
noise and get more people involved. And what COVID has shown me, and y'all can get mad, you can pass judgment on me if you want to, but what COVID has shown me is that we live in a world full of followers. We live in a world full of lemmings. Everyone wants to be led. Everyone wants to be told what to do because don't want to have the response. They don't even want to be responsible for themselves. So to get back to your question, or yeah, I do think that a central bank digital currency is already here. I think what we'll see is like maybe they'll just come in and take one over, and because of my personal opinions, like I don't want to go down the conspiracy theory road either,
Listen,
but
man.
but the Fed has already been absorbed by the IRS under the emergency powers of the president. So all the president has to do now is abolish the IRS, and both systems have come to an end. But in order for him to abolish the IRS, he has to have another system to stand up.
Listen, and I don't want to get too deep in my conspiracy theory bag. Shout out to those who are listening, man. I know y'all probably like, yo, what the hell? But anyway, I just gotta say that because like, when you start talking about crypto and even metals, like it gets me in this space. But the thing about the USDC, right?
hmm
If you look that up, that's partially created by Goldman Sachs.
Oh, so USDC Circle is owned by Coinbase, like Circle, Coinbase, all of them in partnership. So
Yeah,
if Coinbase becomes like Coinbase, we talked about this. Coinbase is the Federal Reserve. Like
but the
Circle is your
partnership,
USDC.
but the partnership with Goldman Sachs is interesting to me because, and again, this is not even conspiracy. Just look up Goldman Sachs and look at their effect on government. There's a whole documentary out there about Goldman Sachs and how tied they are to the government, where you have people in all sorts of cabinet positions who are former Goldman Sachs executives,
Yeah, man.
chairmen of the Fed who are Goldman Sachs executives. So when you see that they're in
See,
partnership,
Mnuchin came from there, didn't he? Did he come from Goldman Sachs?
yeah,
Yeah.
so many of them did. Like, is so many people within high levels of government that came from Goldman Sachs. Like, we'd be here all day. Um, so when you see that Goldman Sachs is partially responsible for USDC, that tells me a lot. And I'll just leave it at there. And for those who want to do some research, you can just like go to YouTube or go to Google and look up Goldman Sachs, US government, or look up Goldman Sachs USDC. And USDC is the stable coin that you can actually get on Coinbase. Again, and the stable coin is pegged to the dollar. So if you want to be in this space, but you don't like the fluctuations, you still can be in the space. I know a lot of people hate stable coins
But you can
because it
earn
kind of like,
interest. You can earn good interest on your stable coins. Like it's all about a mind. Like it goes back to your mindset. Like you have to let go of those personal beliefs and get with what's going on now in front of you. You know, it can't be what you want it to be. It is what it is. So if you, as long as it's insured, like as long as the companies have insurance and solid backing, there's no risk. There's no risk in converting a dollar to a digital into that, especially that USDC. Coinbase is going to be here.
but I find some people in the crypto space, like, they're like, I don't want to call them anarchists, but they don't like stable coins because they think it goes against with the idea of Bitcoin. So you have people who like it's almost like a religion to them.
No, I understand that. I understand, especially
Yeah.
the anarchist part. Like I understand that, but you have to have somewhere to put it in order. To me, it makes no sense to say, okay, well, I believe in Bitcoin so much, I'm just gonna deal with the volatility. Wait until
Yeah.
next month. Wait until next month when it's moving 500 here, 500 1 hour, $1,000 the next hour. So if you put in 500 and it dipped, you mean to tell me, oh, well, I'm just gonna ride that out? No, you take your money or your funds, you go sideline it to a stable coin, and that way you avoid that volatility. You avoid that. You minimize that risk. You know what I mean?
So,
And that,
you believe that there's a place for stable coins, basically.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let me ask you this question. It sounds to me, right? And I think you mentioned this earlier. You said that you pulled completely out of the stock market, right?
I never dove all the way in. I never
Okay.
purchased a
Okay.
stock.
Okay.
I never even completed an option trade. And shouts out to Jay Johnson. I signed up for his course. Like when I first before I got into this space, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into investing. I'm gonna do options. I'm gonna do stocks. Never got one.
But
This
once you
completely captured me.
got you. So let me ask you a question: Have you pulled completely out of the banking system, or are you just because I mean if you if
By
because
2021, I will be completely out of the banking. By the end of 2021, I'll be completely out of the banking system. That's my goal.
interesting.
You'll see my hashtag. You'll see me say become your own bank or BYOB, be your own bank. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
firm believer in that. And with the technology that exists, it's really practical. You can do it. It does take some belief, and you have to believe in the internet and this new way of thinking, this new line of society. But I'm not going to be completely, it'd be foolish to go completely into one arena. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll have some funds in crypto. I'm going to own some properties. I have some metals as well, so.
And we could talk about that. What's funny is, right? I found the video of myself. Actually, I was doing a speaking event back in 2001. So I've been at this for a long time, but it's 2001, and I was telling the crowd about being your own bank. But this had nothing to do with crypto or metals. I was speaking in terms of real estate. So when you tell people to be their own bank, a lot of times they think about the physical structure and that. But the idea I was coming up with at the time was if I can get money at one rate, right? Buy a property and then rent it at a higher rate. I'm doing the same thing that a bank is doing when they take your money and give you one rate and make another rate. That was the idea. But
Mhm.
now with fintech, there's 11 ways to be your own bank. There's so many ways you could be your own bank. So it's just an amazing time to be alive and be an investor because there's so many things out there. And
You can take like Celsius Network, right? You can take your 401k, transfer it over to Celsius Network, and then you can take a loan out against your own currency, and you set the rate and the period for which you want to pay it back. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 18 months, however long, and it's yours, and you could take that. Here we go. You're gonna get me going. You could take your 401k, right? But put it in Bitcoin, take out a loan against that, buy another Bitcoin, right? And then capture the volatility and take from what you capture when it goes up, because it's going to go up this quarter. So when it goes up, then you pay off the loan. Like,
I got I got another question for you. I have to ask you this while I got you on here, right? So you've been in there for several years at this point.
mhm.
And Bitcoin, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 20K, but then it dropped all the way back down. How difficult was all right? So here's why I'm asking this.
I rode the whole wave.
All right, and here's why I'm asking this, right? So a lot of times you see people with all sorts of investments. I see this in real estate all the time. If you would have bought that piece at this time, now this is what you would have. You see it in the stock market, but what's not talked about is riding the waves, right? It's easy to say, hey, if I would have bought, Microsoft at his IPO,
Yeah.
I'd have this.
Yep.
But no one ever talks about the ability to ride that wave, the ability to watch your account dwindle down and come back up. How was that ride for you, watching it go from an all-time high of 20 when it came all the way down to like $3,000? What was
It
that like
was
for you?
it was
Be honest with me. At any
it
point
was
did you say? At
honestly
any
in
point
the
did you say, "Yo, I need to get out of there"? Like at any
no
point, like
in the beginning it was scary, right? Because it was like, why is it going up so much, right? And then, like, so I met with Jamar. This is what saved me. I met with Jamar, and I met with Jamar when Bitcoin was at like 17K. So right when it started going up to 20K. So then Jamar was like, well, now you need to sell and reposition. I was like, sell? Why would I sell? I need to hold on to this. And he was like, no, it's gonna go back down. And because I had never experienced this, and he's an experienced. No, it's gonna go back down. So without having a mentor to walk me through that situation, I would have lost my shit. I ain't gonna lie
okay,
to you.
okay.
But I had a mentor who was knowledgeable in trading, and he could see what was coming. He said, hey, you're gonna take this out, and we're gonna sit sideline. We're gonna change the strategy. So now we're not trading Bitcoin to get uh, into USDT. Now we're trading other altcoins to gain Bitcoin. So that's when I
Okay.
learned how to trade. You know what I mean? Because I had never traded, again, I hadn't traded stocks. So that's when I learned how to trade when Bitcoin was coming down. So when I say I rode the wave, I rode the wave. And I learned how to watch um, for signals to show me how a certain coin was going to perform. I learned how to read charts. I learned how to read candles. That's when I went through that process. And it was really a blessing in
That's what
disguise. I didn't know.
that's what I was going to ask you. As a trader, would you as a trader would you consider yourself more of a fundamental or a technical analysis?
I'm more. I use it all, but I'm really trading sentiment right now in the market. So like I'm trading the news. Um, Off the projects that I do hold, it's really just the chart and sentiment, timing, volume. That's what I really trade off of: volume, timing, and sentiment. And that's what I teach. So it's a theory and it's a formula that we developed that was developed in the DCG, and it's gotten me through and it's helped me. Whether Bitcoin is going down or going up, there's always a trade to be made using that formula, because I can
Okay.
tell I can track volume in a particular token, and it tells me where the sellers and buyers are. It'll tell me that 7, 10, 15, all the way to 200-day moving average, and I'm able to use that different time frames to capture or anticipate certain movements.
One of the reasons that I think this conversation is important is because I do recognize, like, so there'd be some folks who will never get into space, right? There's all sorts of industries, whether we're talking about real estate, stocks, options trading, crypto, the metal space. But I think it's important to talk a little bit about all of them, because of the transfers of wealth. Because what I see is transfers of wealth happening in all of the spaces, right? Whether we're talking
Oh yeah.
about our neighborhoods being turned around and we're not really getting the appreciation that happens there. In the metal space, there's not enough of us in that space. If we talk about cryptocurrency, you just talked about 7% of people actually being in the space overall. When you talk about our community, that number is even smaller.
Yeah.
um and there's wealth being created there, right? And when you talk about people who even trade options, so I think it's important for us to have representation in every space, which is why a conversation with you to me was very important. um but if you can talk to the folks out there who have no experience, who may be hearing about crypto for the first time listening to this episode, what would be the first thing that someone can do just to get, like, a little bit of knowledge to get into the space? What would you say? Like, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's a complete newbie?
For a complete newbie to crypto,
And again, this isn't investment advice. I'm just asking
no,
his opinion. This is just your
no.
opinion of someone who just wants to, get their feet wet or understand a little bit more about the
Right.
space. What kind of advice would you give?
I would encourage you to find a mentor, reach out to someone who has been in the space, and look at their record. If they say they're a trader, just look at their record, ask them to show you some of their trades. If they're an investor, ask them to show you some of their investments. Um, I would encourage you to take it slow. And what I mean by that is, like, when you first enter this space, it's like trying to eat an elephant. And the only way you can do it is one bite at a time. There's so much information coming out, regardless. I mean, if you just decide, hey, I want to read up on Bitcoin, there's so much information that's going to come out, or it's going to lead you down a rabbit hole where so much information. It's just one bite at a time. So I would encourage you actually to find a mentor, find a group of people who are interested in crypto, and go about learning it that way. I'll encourage you to reach out to me. I'm actually this month, starting in November, I am going to start coaching individuals. So
Mhm.
that's what the Crypto Commandments is all about. And again, it's for me, I have a little slogan, it's life is a marathon, not a sprint. You pace yourself with patience, attitude, commitment, and effort. And you run your own race. And I learned that from James Tompkins. He said that trading is like the Wu Tang is 32 different styles, right? Well, for me, it's like trading is like, or entering this crypto space, even.
I
You,
just, as a woo head, I gotta correct you. It's 36 chambers, but that's either here
er,
nor. I didn't.
oh, well,
I'm a woo head. I had to say that, but go
I
ahead
ain't
though.
big, big, big,
But,
but
but
yeah,
I get your point though.
it's like when you cooking though, like you can get your mama's recipe for a peach cobbler. We both can make the same thing, and hers is gonna taste better. It's going to
Mhm.
taste different. So when you had that experience, but having a mentor, having someone to help you answer questions, and understanding that when you come into this space, there are no dumb questions, because you want to have a thorough understanding of it, because you're talking about money, and especially in crypto. Like if you send funds from one wallet to another wallet and one number is off in that wallet, that money is gone. Those funds are gone forever. If it's $1 or if it's $1 million, because you made that mistake, those funds are gone. And So that's what I would do. I would encourage you to reach out for some support with like-minded individuals. Get with a solid group of people and progress through this thing slowly, uh, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. Now, if you're more experienced, then by all means, even still, the experienced traders, I encourage you guys to get with a group of like-minded individuals who share the same principles that you have, and that way you can tackle new projects when they come out. You can get another, because having another set of eyes on it is what helps. And in this crypto space, is moving so fast. Like, we advanced from, like, I'll give you a great example. This month, at the beginning of the month of October, it was DeFi. And then as the transitioned on, now it's NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens.
Non-fungible tokens, yeah.
So you have, and it's that quick, and there's so many scams that go on in crypto because it's so quick and it's over the computer, that if you don't have, it's very beneficial to have another set of eyes on it. It's very beneficial to have another person who has the same fundamentals and principles as you looking at it, to offer an opinion on it if
We
it's a
believe
solid
that
project.
what you're saying, we believe that to be the case with everything, right? So we talk a lot of
Yeah,
times about options trading. We feel like you need to be within a group, right?
yeah.
It's power in a group. I'm part of a black investment group that out here in Philadelphia, and we buy assets. But one of the things we're working on now is buying a node of Ethereum.
Mm.
So we're coming together,
Oh,
and we're going to buy the whole. We're going to buy the whole node, and
what made you decide on Ethereum?
because within our group, a lot of us are just like that in terms of what we like is Ethereum. So when you look at a lot of the other tokens that are based off of Ethereum, we figured let's just go with Ethereum. And you have different personalities. So some, one of the guys is huge on Tezos, and I like Tezos as well, but I'm an ETH head too. But in terms of us coming together, that's the one thing we could all agree on is Ethereum.
Okay,
So, but
I like that, man. That's
buy the
dope.
whole node. Yeah, buy the whole node to see how that works. And this will be the first time we've tried this, but that's another idea in that concept of being your own bank, right? Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things we're working on. I'm looking forward to that. I'm very excited about that. But this has been an amazing conversation, man, because you in the future right now. I told you, if a lot of people aren't comfortable buying from Amazon, this kind of talk you having is like you're a couple years ahead of time. But let me ask you this. I do know that you also said that you buy silver, precious
Yeah.
metals.
Hmm.
What got you into that?
So, um, I started listening to it was a YouTube channel. I hate, but it's this guy named Bix Weir. He's real crazy, and it was a while back, like 2016, right around the same time I got into crypto, and I just started looking at the value of crypto. I mean, I'm looking at the value of silver, and I looked at the history of silver, what happened during the meltdown. What was that, back in '08, and how it
Mm-hmm.
how it bounced. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to. And then I dove down the rabbit hole of silver, and I started to find all of the use cases for it, and how it has more use cases, in my opinion, than gold. It's a better asset to have and hold than gold. And once this, you get me going with the conspiracy. Once the reset happens, if the truth was to ever come out, but it's a more valuable asset than gold. And it's like, so I'm just going to stack this. It's not so much for me as it is, again, for my children and for my unborn grandchildren. Like, I had never been one to talk like this, but I tell my people now, oh, we're millionaires. We're gonna be millionaires. We're rich. Then my kids look at me. I'm like, no, Scrooge McDuck rich. Like, the things that we're doing now is setting us on pace to achieve that. So that's what got me into silver. Was like the guy Bix Weir, and
There's a
I'm
whole
grateful for it.
there's a huge correlation, like in terms of how it works, its value between the crypto space and the precious metal space, right? So I've been buying precious metals since '08, and how I got on the precious metals is really not that complicated. And in fact, part of our YouTube channel, for those listening, you may want to go to our YouTube channel. I have a whole series on gold and silver where I show some of the purchases and tell a little bit about the story of that. But what I did at the time was, right, so I was in real estate's always been like my bread and butter, how I feed my family. But I started looking at, okay, what do wealthy people do? And you find that the same things. You find the real
Oh
estate,
yeah, yeah,
you find the stock market. I was like, okay, so
yeah.
I started buying stuff. I had no idea what time. Like, okay, wealthy people buy gold and silver. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy gold and silver. I'm like, I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel. I'm gonna see, like, read up what they do, and I'm gonna do the same thing, right? It's not rocket
Yeah.
science. So, but over the time, I've learned about the best ways to buy, how to buy. So I just found it interesting that you mentioned that, because I like to talk to people that are also buying. And by the way, at Mex, y'all probably owe me a check, man, because I posted my 10-ounce silver bar. I posted it on my IG and Facebook page, and I seen like 50 people sent me a joint that they bought it after I posted it. So
Yeah, I
y'all
saw that too, man.
you saw that? You saw that?
I saw
Yeah,
that.
that was.
Yeah, I
I
saw
said I
that.
started a wave, man. They owe me a check for that, man. I'm like,
Yeah, I need
yo,
to cut you something.
yeah, they got to cut me a check, dog. But anyway, but I honestly though, I just love to see people get into this space, because it's a great hedge against inflation, as is
Yes.
crypto. And a lot of times when people say, well, you can't, people who are against it, I'm like, well, dig this. This is God's money, right? I don't care what religion you believe in, whatever book you read, guess what
Yeah.
they're talking about in there? They're talking about gold and silver. So, it's lasted all this time. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. But so I think it's interesting that you're stacking that as well, because that also helps you to become your own bank, right?
Yeah.
This,
Yep.
this is what the banks are doing.
Yeah,
Another
those are
point
funds
about
that I.
crypto.
Yeah, those
I
are
want to
funds that I just took away for
yeah,
rainy day.
and I want to get your opinion on this, like before we get out of here, because one of the speaking of silver and gold, right? You have these big guys come out over the last several years, like talking down on crypto, but at the same time, they're buying it and they're buying the metals. I can use JP Morgan as an example.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
First off, what happened to y'all Coke boat? But I'm gonna leave that alone, because I don't want to make it. I don't want to make this a conspiracy theory show. But y'all had a boat full of cocaine. We don't know what happened to it. It just disappeared off the news. But let's leave that alone right now.
Smooth sailing.
Um, let's leave that alone. But they were stacking all sorts of silver, trying to, like, meddling in that market. Also meddling in the crypto market. But on one hand, you're talking down on it, but so my point I guess I'm making is, a lot of times with the big wigs, watch what they do and not what they say.
Yeah, they were suppressing the price of silver. What was a chick named Blythe Masters was
Yep.
suppressing the price of silver, and they
Mm-hmm.
controlled the price from their desk. It's still not the price of silver is still not being truly reflected, but I mean, it'll come in time. I think it'll come out over time. And then they went as far as to talk bad about cryptocurrency, but they were doing that 2 years ago. They were talking bad about crypto over in the U.S. and buying over in Europe, and
Yeah.
now they come out with their own. Now they want to come out with their own stable coin. So the people like myself in this space, like, I have no time for that. I'm not going to participate in using a coin that I know is just going to more or less. I don't more or less just going to. It's going to rape and pillage people. Like, you're just trying to take from people. It has no practical use. You're just trying to get in here to gain money off of, to keep his business relevant. So what I want to see is all these banks fail. I want to see them crash and burn.
Listen, man, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but what I will say is this: because the banks are so powerful, and a lot of times I don't think we recognize just how much power they have, or how shiesty or dirty they can be. Give you an example. Back when the crash happened in '08, right? So coming out of that, I was doing a real estate deal, and this company had owned this property. So a lot of these banks got bailouts when all this happened, and they were still back to their same shenanigans. So it was this LLC, and I started looking up this LLC, and I got down a rabbit hole trying to figure out where this LLC came from, and it was owned by another LLC that was owned by another LLC, which was owned by the bank that foreclosed on it, and they got money on one hand, and then took the money, but make a long story short, they were double dipping. Um,
Yeah,
but the banks do this kind of stuff all the time. Like, so the banks are set up in a way like where they can't lose almost.
yeah. It's like they people have to wake up and walk away
Yeah.
from it. You have to. I mean, you really do have to walk away from it and say, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. But it takes a lot. It's a lot to. Like, it took a lot for me to leave my job. You know what I mean? It's hard when you make 90K and you come home. You're like, hey. So I believe in myself, and I made enough money over here trading. I'm gonna make this happen. For me, it really didn't happen that way. Like, I'm
Hmm.
gonna be completely honest with you guys and divulge. Like, so I knew I wanted to leave. I knew I could leave. I took another job making a little bit less money so I could be closer to home. And what happened was I ended up getting fired from that job for trading on the job. That's what is that's what instilled the confidence in me. Like, oh well, you know what? Like, I really don't need this shit anyway. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. I'm right now. I'm really good. Like, all right, I definitely needed to walk away, but I wasn't confident enough in myself to walk away at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially when you don't have examples. If you don't have an example of someone doing that, taking that entrepreneurial role and that risk, and to guide you and show you. It was later
Mhm.
on once I got it when I got a mentor to help me shape that. So yeah,
I,
but
Powerful story right there, man.
believe in yourself, bro. It's so many people from the Abacus, like who breathed life into me. Um, Nadia, Nadia Ruffin, the
Nadia
urban farm
Ruffin,
si-
yeah.
the urban farm sister. She's here in Cincinnati. Like for the longest, I was like, "So you just walked away?" And she was like, "Yeah, I just walked away." I was like, "Yeah, that ain't gonna happen." But it ended up happening, and I'm grateful for it. I'm here doing it and trading, trading crypto and feeding my family off of it, and it's great. You
That's
know.
amazing, man. Shout out to Nadia, who's also been on here before. So, um, that's an amazing story, man. The older I get, the more I appreciate the movie The Matrix, because I start to realize that we are caught in the Matrix, right? Like we harm each other for money that's not even real. Um,
Hmm.
all these things, and again, I'm not trying to make this a conspiracy theory show, man, but it keeps going back to this, man. Well, let's get to this. So let's talk more about you. Let me ask you this question, right? Throughout your journey, what has been the biggest hurdle or something that you had to overcome to get to where you are today?
My biggest hurdle has been my time management. And honestly, and believing in myself, it's taken me a long time to launch Crypto Commandments, and it should have been done a long time ago. I have instructed people who are members of the DCG Mastermind who have now become instructors themselves. So for me, like right now during this call, I get anxiety when I do the lives and stuff. So you won't see me a lot on social media. You won't see me reaching out to via social media because I have that anxiety attacks me, and it had enabled me for so long. So I'm just now getting over that hump. That is my biggest hump. My mentor had been kicking me in the butt. Get out there, help people, grab people, tell them what you do, be more visible, share. And that's what I'm doing now is I'm sharing, and I want to share with our people. I want to share with your audience and tell them that it is possible to walk away from that 9 to 5. Plan accordingly, believe in yourself, plan your work your plan, believe in yourself, and pace yourself. Patience, attitude, commitment, and effort. Man, I really believe in that. That's what's gotten me here. So I don't care if you trade, if you're interested in stocks, options, crypto, forex, uh, do it. Do it. And I don't care if it's with the Abacus or any other group, but there's something that you should be pursuing outside of your 9 to 5. If you don't want to go with the Abacus, you can come talk to me. DCG Mastermind will help you. If you want some one-on-one and you're interested in crypto, I would love to reach out and help you here. Cryptocom.io. So
What was it about time management? Like, what did you struggle with in terms of time management?
I I didn't know. Like, all right, early on it was like, okay, I would get up. I wouldn't set alarms to move on from one process to another. So I would allow one process to consume me. So let's say I get up, check my email, then I get started on reading the crypto news. I'll execute a trade, and then I go back, and I know I'm supposed to be researching a project or something, but I would get caught up. I would allow my trades to just take over. This was early on when I was still into day trading, and I was actually managing a couple of accounts. Um, but I would allow that to consume me. So I would wake up every day like, okay, I'm gonna trade. Okay, I'm gonna trade, and I didn't have a plan. So you have to have a plan uh, in place, even when it comes to your time management and the schedule. At 8 o'clock, I'm gonna do this. You get so far, stop, and treat yourself. I had to learn how to respect and treat myself like my employer. I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go drive up to Dayton. Well, now I can wait and be miserable. So now I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work out for myself. And
Okay.
that's the beauty in it. Like I've learned how to manage my time by respecting certain cutoffs and put myself first.
Okay. Okay. That's dope. That's dope. And what has helped you in terms of being more transparent with your story and getting out there? You said, being in front of the camera gives you anxiety. What has helped you with that anxiety?
I know I can help people. I know I'm making a difference. I know I'm helping people make money. Like I'm not a braggadocious individual, but like I know it. And I know that's my purpose. My purpose is to help teach people about crypto. It's something that I'm very passionate about. And I just came to that realization. So in order for me to help people, I have to get over this anxiety. I have to get past this this moment here. And actually coming on your podcast has helped me do that. So I want to thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Because
Man,
I, I
absolutely.
I've been stumbling along and stammering along, but I got through it. So thanks, bro. Like I
No,
appreciate it.
no, no. Listen, this is a great conversation. I want to thank you for your time because, like, I think this kind of conversation is important when I see the landscape and see what's going on, right? So I know. Right now, as we're talking, like Bitcoin is above 13,000, right? So
Mhm.
it's dominating the news like it tends to do when it's on the upswing. But I think just the idea of becoming your own bank and understanding what's available or out there in terms of cryptocurrency is very important. And I know this is what you do, so I thought it was an imperative to have you on here. Let me ask you this question: give us a book recommendation. What's your favorite book or a book or something that's helped you along the way?
Book that helped me along the way is the Emerald Tablets, Seven Hermetic Principles.
Okay,
It's part of my morning formula. I read them every morning. They just help me stay balanced. My morning formula really helps me deal with my. I used to complain a lot. I used to be a big complainer, and that morning formula helped me. And those seven hermetic principles are a big part of my morning formula. So
okay,
yeah, I
that's
mean it's
dope.
not
That's dope.
it's a light read. It's a light read. It's not real insightful, but for me, it helps me.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'll definitely add that to our recommended books list. The long list we have of books that our guests recommend. So I'll add that to there. So that's dope. Man, listen, first off, I just want to say thank you for your time because as you mentioned before, time is valuable. That's our most valuable asset. So thank you for sharing that with myself as well as our audience. I like, and appreciate you for all the gems you gave me. Like speaking of Theta, where can you get Theta at? Where can you
You can get
actually
you can get Theta on Binance. You can get Theta on shit. Let me look real quick for you.
what's interesting about Binance? I got a question for you because you're the expert. When Binance went to Binance US, right?
Yeah.
I'm still able to actually do things on my old Binance account. Like I
You
thought they
want
were
to
supposed
stay
to
on your
shut down.
old Binance account. Your old Binance account is going to give you access to a lot more alts than the new Binance. The Binance US does not have access to all of these altcoins or the same market
So
share.
they didn't shut it down then.
No, they didn't shut it down. Binance US is for Binance for US customers. What they did was they disabled service for new members. But there's a
Oh, okay.
if you want to know how to get on Binance, reach out to me. I'll show you how to get on Binance.
Okay, got you. All right, I
But
got you.
no, for
I
sure,
was
like
wondering.
you can VPN. Honestly, you could just VPN to get in on Binance. But
No,
it's a way to
but
try and get
listen,
Americans
I
not
had,
to get
I
on.
had, yeah, I had a Binance account back in the day,
Yeah,
and just for shits and giggles, I logged in to see if I could buy something, and it let me do it, and I was like shocked. I said, "Well, I thought you weren't able to use this no more."
nah, bro, get with it on your phone. Mine is on my phone every
Yeah,
day.
dude, I'm like, damn, I didn't know I still can do this because I thought I was shut out because of the new Binance US. But all right, that was a personal question, man. But
Oh,
anyway,
good. You have any more? You got one more?
listen, man. No, no, listen. I could pick your brain all day when it comes to this space, man, because I'm very interested in the future. As someone in real estate, I'm interested to see how smart contracts and things of that nature will change the real estate game because I know it's coming. I go up well before COVID. I attended a lot of like real estate seminars and valuation like conferences in every conference I went to. So I was on an international speaking circuit. So I've spoken
Okay.
in Europe, I've spoken in Australia, but every time I'm at a conference, there's always someone else speaking about cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the future in real estate.
Yeah, man,
So
it's coming.
and I always peek my head in there to see exactly what they're talking about. And most of the time it's smart contracts. The one time it was about title, how to clear real estate titles through the blockchain.
Yep.
So I know that it's coming, and a lot of the big commercial real estate firms are investing in the blockchain. So there's a whole industry being built
Yep.
again. So even if you're someone who's an employee and you're working in a bank or you're working for a real estate institution, this is something that you should be aware of because this is going to revolutionize business in general, right?
Big time.
Outside
Big
outside
time.
of coins, it's going to revolutionize industries in general. So just be aware of what's going on around you. So, so I was excited to have you on to ask these questions, and you actually delivered, man. You put me down with a lot of information, a lot of game, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh man, I'm happy to help. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, and for the audience out there, I will leave DeShawn's social media contacts, his Instagram and all that. I'll leave that within the description so you can hit him up directly if you have any questions for him, or you want to be mentored by him or look for any of his services. I'll make sure to leave his information there so you can hit him directly. Do me a favor, please share this information because our folks need it. If you're listening on the audio podcast, make sure to give us a rating, 5 stars, please. But give us a rating nonetheless, and give us some feedback about this episode, and let us know this. What are your thoughts on blockchain, cryptocurrency, and the future of business? Like, is it something that you're looking into? So I'd like to hear from the audience to figure out, what your opinion is of this space, man, because I think that it's crucial for us to, even if you don't jump right into, understand what's going on around you, because this is happening. Like, this is happening.
Ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it.
At this point, there's no stopping it, right? So, DeShawn, man, I just want to say thank you again. Appreciate your time, man. And anything we can do to help you along your journey, man, we are here, man. But thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And to our audience, as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.